So the U.S. won Nations League again. Jamaica had a good performance. What's the gap between the U.S. and everyone else? We know who's going to COPA from CONCACAF, and Ghana can't do anything on the pitch for me right now. Okay, they can't win; they just draw. And some other interesting friendlies to talk about. But guys, that's what we're here to run through, talk through, because we are the Africans. We have JD from the IMAX and WeMax crew. We're just going to talk about the friendlies in the March window because between the sanction games, between the friendly games, between even some interesting things reading through, there's a lot of conversations that can be had with that. But JD, I know you are there. It's great to talk about football on the pitch for a change for the last couple of days. But how are you doing, first of all?
I'm pretty much good, just a little bit exhausted over the last 2 days because obviously, as you said, football on the pitch. I had to go to Suriname's game against Martinique. So from there, trying to balance the work, YouTube, the kid, and all sort of things. So, but I think I'm doing well. I think I'm doing very much well. Thanks very much. Yes, but as you said, several good games, especially Jamaica. It's off the pitch, so it's on the pitch, I should say. So that's very good because at one point I forgot how the players them actually played together. So the fact that we saw some players put together and get a good run, we can dissect a lot of things, and I am pretty much happy about that. What about you on the Canada performance? Or where are we going to start?
No,
Not
we
the
can.
Americans, please God.
I mean, they're the easiest conversation to start with because they won again, and JD, I won't lie. I was watching Thursday nights, and I had driven far, and then I said literally on Twitter, I'm like, yeah, let me just check into this, and I saw 1-0 Jamaica. I'm like, please give this to me. I don't even care that they beat Canada. Just give me this. Give me this performance. I would take it. Unfortunately, they weren't able to hold through. And I think the US winning again, there's a thought that I have where I think the US has spent so much time, A, developing their program, but then also B, creating a system that is, and I'll say this way, and this may get some flack. It's not necessarily Mexico proof, but they are built to match up with that team, whether if they want to play on the front foot or if they want to play and say, you guys can have the ball and we'll just counter you to death. I feel that they are built for that squad. And I think where the CONCACAF aspect comes into this, you see a lot of CONCACAF teams which start to address themselves and start to play to beat certain teams, and that works within the region. I think the true evaluation of those squads will come down to when they play bigger competition. I think this is why Copa America matters so much to these teams, even Canada for an extent, because you hear a lot of the same discourse with all the fans. And I find that interesting, where you listen to American fans and they say, oh, well, I mean, we really winning Nations League is fine, but we really need to see how we look against South American teams. And then the Mexican fans will say, well, we can play all the Copa, we can play all the CONCACAF teams, but it comes down to how we look against at Copa. I hear some Canadians and say, yeah, we're close to the Americans and the Mexicans, but it's going to come down to how we look against the South American teams. And then Jamaica's like, look, we're here. Let's see what we can do. And hey, anyone want to join us on this trip? Because we want to build something cool that's on this nature. So not to say that CONCACAF is diminished, because you can see by some of the actions that, say, teams take when you look at, say, the Gold Cup, it is a little bit diminished, but I'm more curious to see now when they put them into environments, see what they look like. But I think the U.S. is built to counter whatever Mexico brings to the pitch. I won't deny, and I know this feels like I'm parroting a lot of people, where they say this feels like this is one of the weaker Mexican generations that we've seen come through. Be that as it may, they still were able to get a 3-0 on Panama, who is a team that most of us will look and say is an up and coming team. If I want to throw really knee jerk reactions and hot takes, I'd say, is Panama reached the ceiling, which I think is a bit overstated. I think Panama just ran into two teams that can play them a little bit better than that. And I feel that with Panama, they have a good system, but it might come down to the teams that they're playing can just put a group of players on the pitch and they can just be more talented. because that's, I mean, if we want to go to the Canadian aspect, that's what happened. Canada put a team against Trinidad. They got the job done, but I think they were just more talented. I think Panama as a unit look great, but I think they'll run into problems when it comes to teams that are equal to them, but then can surpass them, especially from a talent standpoint, because I think talent can beat systems in moments of brilliance, and that's what we saw with that. When you're looking at you saw Jamaica lose heartbreakingly to the US 3-0 and then beat Panama for that third place. What are your takeaways overall for Nations League when it comes there? And ultimately, what are you looking to take, or what's that next step you think for that national teams that you saw there over this weekend?
All right. So I thought you were going to go over the Jamaica, you mean the United States one, but I'm going to just go with the Jamaica one.
Yeah.
All right, so Jamaica versus Panama. First, Jamaica against United States. I thought that, to be honest, the United States was the actual better team on the day. They were working on something because they had limited players to play with. All right, and they were trying to go with a back three. Or back five, I would say, because but all of the teams have kind of pressed Jamaica back, so it was technically a back five, but some would say it's a back three. All right, yes. So they were trying to work out that, and then they got the forward players isolated. So the attacking third, it was not the best side because we were struggling to get the ball, and we have to go from back to front. So it took too much for them to get onto it. So I think this window was to see how we could refine this one. So the fact that you get some results in a time when you're trying to refine something or try to work on something, let me put the word work on rather than refine, because refine, you have to be at least good at it to refine it. As what the coach said, it's something new that they were getting, so they were just trying to work on that. So I saw it as a work in progress, and it actually showcased that we have a lot of things to choose from. Like in depth, we have a lot, and maybe this one kind of help the coach a little bit more. So when in the future they don't have any players, they know what to move on to and how strong they are when that time comes. So I think it was a work in progress and also a enlightenment at the same time. That's what I would say. And at the same time, you got a third place while being enlightened on what you truly have.
No, that's true. I think that's the thing. The great thing about this tournament, especially for, I'd say, for Jamaica, is they were able to see a little bit more of the depth. They were able to see a few players who maybe were away. Michael Hector coming back in, having a good performance there gives you options now that when you get like an Ethan Pinnock back, then do you go with a double center back duo of those two, or do you say, let's go to a back three and try to exploit? You've given your coach more options, more opportunities, more decisions to make. And I think that's all he can ask for in terms of from Jamaica. I liked what they were able to do. I would have loved, just for chaos purposes and for the memes, I would have loved them to beat the US, but weren't able to pull it out, and that's fine because Concacaf refs look at additional times more as suggestions than an actual time, because that's what happens always.
Okay, you're joining the gangs of the extra time.
JD, as a Canadian,
Yes.
in the Gold Cup of 2021 or 2022, no, 2021. Remember, it was 7 additional minutes, and then it went what,
Yes.
11? And I'm like, I just want to go to
Yes,
additional
but
time.
to be honest, according to the book, and from the other day, I started to use the book. So I should use the book now when it's in favor of Jamaica. But when I use the book and it's not in favor of Jamaica, they say that I should not use the book. But according to the rules, in reality, when they said 7 minutes, 7 minutes is where it starts from. And the coach, the referee decides how much he wants to add on it. But that was not what happened. It was 4 minutes, and they put it up to 5 minutes. And then the referee decides what he wants to put on top of 5 minutes as well. So that is where people could clearly say, okay, this is definitely some BS. You understand me? Because no, it's not about what you think. It's about you changing a rule, changing a number. And they said that they said they heard the person wrong. Africans, they heard the person wrong, and they put up the wrong number. Yes, and
No, it
announced the
happens.
wrong number as well.
Yeah,
It
it happens,
happens.
JD.
I've
4
never heard
sounds
that in
like
my
5.
life.
4 sounds exactly like 5, and then 9.
I've
I get it.
never heard
It
that in
makes
my
sense.
life, but I will let them continue to tell me that that is true.
Oh man, that's funny. Make good performers this weekend. Who are your standouts? I mean, for me, I'd say if I'm looking, I'm gonna take the Americans
Players,
because
players wise,
yeah,
players
players
wise.
wise, yeah.
All right,
I
so
think yeah.
players wise, I would go with definitely for Jamaica. I don't care what the Nana Low massive want to say. It was Big Hector. Hector
Mm,
was the player for Jamaica for me. Hector showcased range.
mhm,
Surprising, Lati Bodier showcased range. So I'm going to go with Jamaica 3 centre backs. Jamaica 3 centre backs. I
mhm.
thought that showed me everything that I wanted. So I'm going to go with Jamaica 3 centre backs as all the defenders. So all the defenders came from Jamaica. So
Yeah.
Lati Bodier, Hector, and Deshaun Bernard. So Hector and
Mhm,
Bernard, that's for Jamaica. Those are
mhm,
the players that shows me like prove to me they're under pressure against United States. I saw them closed it in on Way and closed it in on Balagan as well. Pulisic did get away 2 times, but he was terrible in his finishing, hence why he never scored because it was an empty goal. And it's good tracking back by Latibo here to make sure he doesn't have that extra second as well. So
yeah.
I would go with all 3 players right here. And then now for United States, it has to be one player for United States, and it's Giovanni Reina.
Yes.
Reina, hands down, change everything. We realize that United States cannot play a low block without Reina because they have no creativity. Obviously, Western McKennie can be a creative midfielder, but
Mhm,
Tyler Adams was not ready, so they had to drop Musa to a 6 and use
mhm.
Tillman. So Tillman is not the way to go for United States. It's actually Reina at this point. So Reina would be my player. Adji Wright, we have to give Adji Wright his credit as well because he got those 2 goals. So Adji Wright, yes.
Mhm.
No, I'm naming out all of my players.
No,
I
no,
know it
no.
sounds a
Go
little
ahead. Go
long,
ahead.
but I have to do my job because I have my paper here. All right, so Adji Wright, people. Adji Wright, definitely a talent right there. Good positioning, and him and Reina sinks well. Pulisic let me down, so Pulisic would go into the falling category. All right,
Mhm,
so for Mexico, I have to put in um, Big Bad. What's his name again? Big Bad Alvarez.
Alvarez,
Alvarez.
yeah.
Alvarez is the only person I could say fit in and can go up against the Americans. Them Santiago Jimenez. He still need more time in the Concacaf, which I don't know why he needs more time in the Concacaf. I'm very sorry, but only from Mexico, only Alvarez. Alvarez is a top level player,
Mhm.
top level player. And
Yeah.
right now, he's proving that he's a top level player in the world because I told him that he's better than Declan Rice and Peas. All right. And I'm telling you, he's more versatile than Declan Rice and Peas,
Mhm,
1000%. But I am not going to argue that today. All right. Yes. So when you go over to Big Bad Canada now, Canada, I got to
Or
say the man
Panama
for
or
Canada.
Canada?
No. Panama. I will come back to Panama. Panama. 2 games they played, and I can't. I'm not gonna pick nobody at Panama team. Canada played Twin Africans. Why
Oh,
should I not talk about Canada? I
I thought
watch
we were
all the
talking
games.
about. I thought we watched all the games, JD. I was just saying. I thought we were
Yes.
starting with Confederations League and then going to work with Copa qualifiers. But you know what, JD, you have your list, you have your paper. I
All
defer to
right.
you.
All right. So for Canada now, Alphonse Dino, if he doesn't play for Canada, that extra outlet out of the wide is a problem. All right. So then we have my boy as well that I was very much impressed with Ugbo. Ugbo he's bringing
Mhm,
over good form. He is very good. At
mhm,
least I'm seeing better for him. So Ugbo and Alphonse Davis, I would say the 2 ones that I saw and I was impressed with. I thought that some of the passes, square passes to get into Lauren, it was not good enough. They could have killer. They could have slapped. They could have beat the brakes of Trinidad. They could have given Trinidad 25 if those square passes were on.
mhm,
25. All right? Yes. 25. I've said it. But because of those square passes, but the fact that they are getting into the end of the midfield third just to find this slide that pass. What
mhm.
I think Ustak you need to play higher. Ustaki have too much talent. I think he needs to play higher. Somebody need to find a way to put him higher and take out Jonathan David out of that role.
I think, but that's a conversation I've been having with people, which is what do you need versus what do you have? And no one's denying Eustachio needs to play further up the pitch, but what is in the pool that will allow him to play up the pitch? I think his unfortunately there are no sixes, right? And I think
Mm-hmm.
that's Canada's problem, right? Atiba's not coming through those doors. Sam Piet is not in the form that he was before. You don't have any sixes. Now, if you just want to play a rotating set of eights and say one of you has to track back from time to time, fine, do that. But Kone is more of an eight who can create, but you need him on the ball. Eustachio's there. Right now, if you look at the players who are informed from a midfield standpoint, I think that's where you think, okay, is it Ali Ahmed who's at Vancouver? Is it a player like Mathieu Choignard who's playing at CF Montreal? They have a lot of eight profiles, but they don't have any sixes, which is why I think the one question is because the 1-6 that they brought to the Gold Cup last year, Victor Latour, he didn't get any play barely, and I don't think that's where they're going to go. I think your best bet is if you're going to push them up, you have to play basically a trio of eights, and one of them has to track back, or they have to change one of these young center backs and say you're a CDM now. They have to do that. And I think that's what they were trying to do with Bombito at the Gold Cup, but it didn't work as well. But Bombito is a center back, is an athletic center back, which works very well. Yes, float management. They give me nothing. But so I think for Canada, based off of the pool that they have available, they have to go and just get another eight in and just say rotate it through and then kind of move there. So Canada needs to either hope that a six develops, whether that's hoping a player like Justin Smith, who played U20s and now on loan in third division in France, or you find another eighth and you add into that rotation. But three midfielders is the option that they have to go. And I'm excited to see what they do with it, but I think ultimately they don't have those options. They really don't even have any, other than Eustachio, they don't really have any cam options either, unless you're going to pull up Simon Coline, who's playing in the Netherlands right now. So I think a trio of eights and then having Eustachio have to bomb back a little bit, I think is your best bet. The other low key thing about this game, GD, that doesn't get enough talk, Canada doesn't have fullbacks. We have two fullbacks.
Yeah, yeah. But at the same time, remember, from the last couple of games, are I think not even no, I think over the last 6-7 games, you have figured out that the best way to play at this point is a 3.
Yes.
So even though you might not have natural what you call it, natural fullbacks, no, you can still use Alistair Johnston, and which can play fullback, but as you said, they don't have the fullbacks in abundance.
Yes.
So you use the wing backs them, because Alistair Johnson can either replace with Tajan Buchanan as a natural fullback, your wing back, I should say. So you have more options because you still have centre backs. So you just use the centre backs them in their position, and then you have more luxury in the wing back areas. That's what you have to do at this point. Everyone has problems when it comes on.
And I think that's fair. But I'm saying it from a standpoint of you're technically, if you look at the pitch, the players who were fullbacks on the pitch were Alphonso Davies and Alistair Johnson. And one was playing a wing back role, the other one was playing in the back three. And I think this comes to the whole, and this is why I don't like the idea. I wanted to see it, but then it also confirmed what I always thought with Jonathan David in the 10 role. You're going to default to what you want to do. It's the same thing we say about when Nigeria plays 18 strikers and two center backs. And
yes,
people wonder
everyone
why
will
there's
be
nothing in the
running out of
midfield.
position.
It's
yeah, that
like,
is true. That is true.
You like the inch to where you want to go. So I think that ultimately comes down to player structure and like what do you have. And I think if you can figure that out now, you have 2 years. Canada does. Either A, you have to recruit a 6 or a 10, or you have to recruit some more midfielders and some fullbacks, because that is there. You don't need strikers because they have strikers in abundance right now, right? They won't need to find any other ones. But now the conversation just becomes, what are the things that you're missing there, right? Just want to run through some of the comments here because I think
no problem.
they're good. It's cool. Stephen Jordan saying the new car smell is off Balogun. The man's about to ride pine. Give me Balogun with Reina and then go, because the best Balogun looked like was the finals last year when he had Reina feeding him the ball all the time. You need that. Giovanni class never dies. I mean, if that's the thing, you may not be informed, but class is permanent. And he is a player that there aren't many of in CONCACAF.
And
Truly creative tens.
yeah, he's a dead attacking midfielder, to be honest. You know, he can play out wide, but I think his skill set is just something that's not dying. Surprising, you know, KC Palmer is similar to him, you know. But the problem is Jamaica just don't use him there. They're similar players.
And I think that's where you have to get between how a coach wants to play versus what the best thing is. And that's why I'm always saying put them in the position.
You just talked about Jonathan David. You just talked about Jonathan David. Look how different he looks in a different position. Just move them 2 yards away and they just transform into different beasts. So it's the right thing. It's the right thing. Believe me, little patches, people change the entire game for players.
Okay, so you have Tillman played poor from Jason Gunnar. I don't disagree. Tillman, again, this is leagues and speeds and teams that play differently. A lot of comments. Doesn't like that. Stephen Jordan coming with the Canada pull the Jamaican played a 4-2-4. No, they basically played a 3. They played a 3-2-5.
They kept the 3. They kept the 3. They
played
a
3-2-5.
Yes, I like their shape until the midfield third, but after that, Africans was right. Jonathan David is playing striker, and the next two guys them can't find any space, so they have to be out wide in the end, and then stop Alphonso Davis from coming forward and stop Buchanan from coming forward. So they need more time in the system. That's all I'm going to say.
But here's the counterpoint: they had a full camp, 5 days to prepare for a team that they knew was going to sit low, and they still look that disjointed, right? They still had moments where it was just like, come on, guys.
Yeah, but United States have 50 million friendly matches and they still can't break down a low block. So it still need time, Africans, because remember, it's a running muscle memory, as you said. It's a muscle memory putting them in the position.
True.
So you have to have muscle memory to take them back out of the position, because at least they're going to get something to start at. So they're going to remember, you need to start in near, stay here, don't move, because Ugbo will be floating and Laren will be floating. And I'm telling you, even Laren had a easy tap in. I can't believe that he just guided it to, unless he's not good on his left foot, because it was his left foot he used, kicked it, and it was a team shot right around 8 yards away from the goal. 8 yards.
And that's the problem with a player like Laren, where it's like he can give you a moment, but then he'll also give you a dud like that. And he's given you more moments than duds recently. But like if you look at the strikers they brought in, Ugbo occupies the space, and Bear is a similar type of a thing. I would argue that Ugbo is the type of a player, and someone was saying this comment, it's true. He'll go games where he's just non-existent, but you give him an opportunity and he will convert. So if I'm there, I'm like, I'm not looking at Ugbo as like, can he play with Laren? No, that's not a good. Ugbo has to be looked at as if he continues his form, this is your swap in, swap out. Similar type of player, but they can't play together. In the same way that I look at Jonathan David and then Jason Russell Rowe, those players who got the game going for a Schaffelberg's goal to put it away. They hit in two different similar roles, but if you can play them now where they don't have to be relied on so much, there's more depth, right? If you're Canadian, there's more depth that they've had in this program than a long time. But you can say the same thing about Jamaica, the same thing about the U.S. There's a lot of depth, and now the conversation becomes, how are you going to use it? Let's run through some of these, because I do have a question which I know everyone's going to be interested to answer, which is, I'll give you the question now. You guys can start putting your takes in, which is, after Nations League, how do you look at your top 5 CONCACAF teams? How do you look at them? What are your top 5?
After Nations League.
Yes. Who are your top 5?
Sorry, my black ancestry, the Mexicans.
Yes, float management, I know. They don't give me wins. We only draw out the misery. That's Ghana football these days. They say bring back the love. It's actually bring the draws. Nothing but draws and losses. I agree. And I do Haiti football trending, letting me know Copa America is going to be crazy. I agree. Bombito, no to them is Steph. I think they might have to lose it because they don't have any other 6s unless you're going to play Ami Ahmed there.
All right, tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to, after this, I am going to go with, I know it's always between Canada and Panama, the third best team. I don't think Jamaica passed it as yet. You know, we got a win against Panama. and we got a win against Canada, but we lost 2 times against Canada as well, and we lost 3 times against Panama. So we can't just cheat out those 2 teams to say we are better than them when we just beat them only once, out of the last billion times. So I'm going to still say it's between Panama and Canada, and for some reason I am going with Canada. I don't think people disrespect. I think people disrespecting Canada. So I think it stays the same order. United States first, definitely no. I have conceded. The Mexicans let me down. My black Mexican race. Not working well. All right. So Mexican out. United States in. Mexico takes the 2nd spot and Canada takes the 3rd spot. I would say with the win for Panama, I slightly believe, even though Jamaica defeated Canada as well, but you could see that if Canada are just you could see what I'm trying to explain is in the Panama game, it looks like Panama maxed out in quality on the players them, and maybe their game plan never worked out on the day. But Canada has the down tool for Jamaica to win the game. That is the big difference. You get me? Because Canada did down tool at the time and Jamaica won that game. But for Panama, I saw that Panama couldn't really, even though they had injuries as well. So I'm not going to act like they can't be better. But what they had on the field, I just never believed that they would have come up with 6-7 goals. I think Canada can score 6-7 goals on Jamaica any game. They're going to create 6-7 chances, clear empty chances. I don't think Panama have that in them, and that's why I am putting Canada above Panama. So and then no, Jamaica and Panama, because of Jamaica having better talent, I want to say that it's equal fort with Jamaica and Panama. I'm putting them equal fort right there. So I have no 4th place is Jamaica and Panama right there, because I think Panama is a better playing football team, as what the coach says. But I still believe that Jamaica might have the better talent, and with a solid defensive shape, Jamaica can beat Panama on any given day. I don't think Jamaica can beat Canada on any given day. I don't think so. So that's why I giving them edge. That's just my take, and that's my top.
And that's fair. I think the thing that if I'm going to work my way back, and I'll say this, I think my 5 team, and I feel like I'm disrespecting them by saying this, but I think my 5 is Panama, because Panama, they can be equal tactics versus talent, but talent will create the moments of brilliance. And we saw that against Canada. We saw this against Jamaica. We saw this against Mexico. I'm starting to think that there's a ceiling for this Panama squad as they are currently built right now, today. If tomorrow they can change something, they could be on top. But as they are built right now, they are talented, and they are well coached. And I think they still have one of the best coaches in the region. But you put them against a team with talents that can come out and go, not to say that they don't have talent, but give you some exceptional players, they'll create, and that will be the difference. Right? Though they have those players those X factor players who can just create the difference. So because of that, of the 5 teams that we're talking about, they're the only team that doesn't have per se a player who can come out and have a moment of brilliance. And I think that hurts them. So I'm going to put Panama at 5. For 4, 4, but with a big piece of potential, I think is Jamaica. Because I think Jamaica, for how they've played, you've seen them defensively getting better. And that's the thing. You have a defensive coach who's defensively the team starting to look a little bit better. Now, could that be because players are there, players are not? Again, we're talking about what's on the pitch. And what was on the pitch was a side that, though they didn't play as well as the U.S., they were in a position to get the victory. And that's all you can ask your squad to do. Could they have put it away? We wish they would have. But you're seeing those moments that are improving, and I think that's where I'll put Jamaica at 4. But they have the biggest arrow in terms of potential. Canada at 3, as where they are today, and this is mainly because I don't think the coach Biello has done enough to show that he can take the team further. They are there. And I think that's the problem. I think their ceiling is looking like they are, where they can look great for a half. And my biggest gripe against Biello is that just adjusting wise, you don't see it. Because if he adjusts against Jamaica, they're not in this position. But they played 100 miles an hour the entire game, and then Jamaica just said, "Okay, well then we'll just press you for a little bit." And all it took was 15 minutes. The game turned on its head, and they were playing to qualify while Jamaica was playing for a trophy or a classification. I haven't seen him be able to do that, and I think that is where it is. So as they are currently built, Canada is still 3, but they don't have as much potential as Jamaica, but they're sitting there. 2 is Mexico. They still show that they got the results.
But you
They
said they
still
don't have so much potential. What you mean by potential? Because I don't see Jamaica have a midfielder, nobody as good as Ustakio and Kone. And both Kone is very young. Then their
no, they are.
forward line, we have nobody as David, and we have nobody as Alphonso Davis, and we have nobody as Tajan Buchanan. To be
No,
honest, in the
that's
defense
fair.
line, I would say Jamaica have several pieces in the defense line. So why you think that you can't go higher? Is it the coach or the players? Because for me, it couldn't be the players.
To me, it's the coach. To me, it's the coach
Okay.
for Canada, right? And that's why
Okay.
I think the Canada is a very talented squad, and they've never had as much talent as they do. But the difference between Canada and I think but Holmgren and Biello, to me, Holmgren will adjust something. We've seen it. He'll look at the game and say, "Let me try this." Whether it's desperation, whether it's just a moment of brilliance, we've seen the adjustments. I've had 3 games with Biello, 4 games with Biello, technically, and I haven't seen it. Now, that doesn't mean that it's not
Okay. Fair
possible,
enough.
but from what I have seen, I think Canada can be solidly 3rd, but catching Mexico, who is very catchable, is not going to be easy, I think, with Biello at the helm. That's just how I see it. Mexico, though they are not talented, they are still getting the results against the expanding sides. So I'm getting them at 2. And then the US, I think it's them. It's their opportunity to kind of go through. They are the actual kings of CONCACAF. I hated that line, by the way. I'm just gonna say that now.
Yes, and I've conceded, people. United States is better than Mexico, so I don't have to fight again. United States is better than Mexico. All right, they are better than Mexico. Yes, Africans, take your show back
No,
because that's
that's
a
fair.
weird ass
That's
name.
fair.
A weird ass name, but go
I
to your
saw it.
comments then.
Yeah, I saw it. So we have going through some of the comments that are here, guys. Haiti football has USA, Mexico, Panama, Jamaica, and Canada. That's fair.
Canada
Uh,
fifth. Oh my
Canada,
God,
and
Haiti
that's
football.
if you want to put it there, that's
That's not.
fair.
That's not
But
true. That's not true.
it's okay. But we will create chances and miss them. Haiti will just over the bar. Haiti is the South Africa of CONCACAF. Just never on target. Never on target.
Oh
Okay.
Lord.
All right. So Haiti football going again. Their order is da, 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 da. That's the order: USA, Mexico, Panama, Jamaica, and Canada. Cool. Jason says it's true. No Herdman, no party. I was listening to Josh and Alex on one of the Canadian ones, and it's a point where I think you need a different voice that hasn't been associated with this program for a while. So I think that's fair to kind of look at it from that way. Let's see some of those others. Panama, Canada, the USA only look good because Jamaica has been playing terrible style for years. Yeah, and I think that's a commentary more so on CONCACAF where everyone is playing.
Your mic went. Your mic went out, Africans. We're not hearing you. Let me check my system to make sure. Yeah, my system is working perfectly fine. Oh, I just heard something.
Yeah, we're back. Sorry, I knocked the
Yeah.
cable. Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, I think there's more teams that are playing more defensive to try to reduce the
So,
chance. Yeah.
but the question I'm gonna ask to this take forward: if Jamaica come out and play, you really would have had Jamaica in the top 3 or 5? Because I honestly don't believe so. No, I think they would have tore us apart. Almost every one of these teams. Mexico did it to us, so we can't say it's a lie. United States showed us in 18 minutes that if you come out and play with us, that is what we wanted. We expected you to be the big dogs. We had no chance. And when we come out against Canada, they split us straight through the line. If they had took a game serious, they would have gotten 20 against us. They had created the most. So how good are we truly? If you're going to go by that method, take forward to say that, it's because we are playing defense. That's why United States looks so good. No. Give them respect. Give them respect and give us respect as well. Because through giving them respect, you can give Jamaica respect as well. Because that would have said Jamaica is improving. But if you take away the respect from them, that means we are no good either. Yeah,
I think
we
the
can't reason like
problem, yeah, I think the hesitation with some people and what I've had with Jamaica is you're playing a style with the wrong parts, right? You want to play defensive football. You have a defensive coach who wants to play defensive football, but you're basically effectively playing a 4-2-4, right? And if you want to play
in the
defensive,
normal system, yeah.
yeah, and I think that's why if you want to play defensive, you have to look at that back three for better cover. Michael Hector, his performance here, you have to look at that and say, okay, throw him in with an Ethan Pinnock, throw him in with any of the young center backs, or if you want to finally put Damian Lowe back there, put him back there, and
No,
then now you
he ain't going back there because that's the
oh, he's
reason
just
why we
gonna
look so
roll.
good. I'm very sorry. That's the reason why we look so good. All
Okay.
right. So I am gonna start. I'm gonna tell people that yes. Go ahead. Yeah.
But ultimately,
Not
you
really
have
stop that.
Hector suits better how Hogginson wants to play than active and rolling. So I think if you do that, you can start to have the right players and players who are more conscious to track back defensively do that. I think it suits them better than say having a squad that is a coach that's defensive, but this plan is let's just go through because that's the first half versus Canada. You have to go for the game, but you want to be responsible. But then it's just highway. Canada shot, Blake save. Canada shot, Blake save. And I think they need to continue to find the right pieces to fit what the coach wants to do. And I think that's the thing I looked at. And I said, okay, maybe now Hector is someone who suits this. And if they want to play defensively in Copa, I think you need a player like Hector with a Pinnock. Now you have more center back depth, you have more center back flexibility, and that gives you some more options moving forward. But we'll go from there. Let's go through this, and then I'll ask one last question in terms of Copa, in terms of our teams, and if there's one thing that they're missing, so you guys can think about that. The yellow effect is why I will put Panama and Jamaica right there with them, tied at 3, and don't sleep on Costa Rica either. No, not sleeping on them. They are certainly still there. I think they definitely are a team that gets forgotten, as I just did, but they're definitely a squad that they
Quality wise,
have.
Jamaica has better squad than Canada. But higher vibes. That's stop the man. Oh my god, man.
I
That's
wouldn't say that Panama doesn't have a goal score problem. They don't have a player who can change the game. Yeah, you look at Carrasquilla as a player that you'd hope could be that, and maybe he develops into that. But right now, I mean, the U.S. has Pulisic, Reina, Co. Mexico has Lozano, Jimenez, according to Mexicans. Moving forward, Canada has Buchanan and Davies. Jamaica has Gray. Do I mention players who are suspended slash
yeah.
taking breaks? I don't know.
Mention everyone because higher vibe just said we have a better squad than Canada. You know, and
Okay.
to be honest, all front three players Canada have is better than our front three players. I'm very sorry. All front three of them because Buchanan, I think, but I've said that for years. Buchanan is actually better than Bailey in their
Yeah.
system. And every time I saw Buchanan for Canada, he's better than Bailey. Every time. And I'm not going to change my mind. I've seen that for 3 years, 4 years. People should remember that I am the one saying that. And I said that man will be a $50 million player in no time. Within my lifespan on YouTube, I still have 2 more years on YouTube. And before 2 more years, he's going to be at 50 million. Just watch. Because I was talking when he was at the 1 million, you know. And Liam Bill was at 25, you know. All right. Yes.
No,
So,
fair,
bro,
fair.
top of the foolishness here, man.
The Pax Rally, I'm sorry, I still don't rate Canada. I think if Trinidad had finished their chances, we would be singing a different song. Yeah, but if everyone finishes their chances, it's a different story. If someone finishes their chances in the story in a game, it's a different story. If so, I think ultimately how they played was this game went had Trinidad wanted it to go. It was tight. They were able to create their chances. They weren't able to do anything with them, but they were able to create chances. And that was a game they wanted to play. We can't look at the game as in what could have been or what should have been, because ultimately the game is what did happen. Trinidad played a style, and they almost pulled it off, but then Canada scored 1 and then scored 2, and that was it. They still created their opportunities, but you don't get half points for chances. You get goals, and you get chances for that. So yeah, if they do finish their chances, that's the case. But then you open the door to, well, what about this chance here? What about this chance there? What if this happens here? This happens there. It's all very circumstantial. I don't disagree with you. They haven't looked good. They haven't looked good probably since the Belgium game at the World Cup. That was peak Canada in terms of how good they've looked. And then since then, they got the Croatia game wrong. They got the Morocco game. They played into it. And then Nations League in the next year looked good. They didn't look good against the US. And then after that, they just have looked like they've been at a level where they aren't reaching that next level. And I think that's the problem where it comes. I think that's where it is. If Jamaica had brought the best team, then they would be a better squad than Canada. Well, of course, the trolling continues. And Trinidad plays better football than Jamaica.
The football that I saw from Jamaica, I am not going to give that. I think that football is better than Trinidad's football. Yes, I think Trinidad's football is caveman football. You know, we could argue the first one that we used, the 4-2-4 style football, that was terrible. But this one that I saw with Lati Bodier them at the back, it looks much more appealing than the one that we had played. So I would say the old days football, the old one that we use in the maybe last 5 matches or 3 matches. Yes, we could compare both of those football that being ugly. But this one, Jamaica one, is better than Trinidad. That's what I'm going for, Patrick.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Okay, so question for you is, you looking at your national teams heading into COPA, what's the one thing, if you could add one piece or you could improve one thing to your squad, what would it be walking into Copa America?
One thing.
Yeah, just one thing, right? Like just one thing. It could be adding a player, it could be changing the formation, it could be whatever.
No, the formation has to stay the same, but I can't just add one thing, because one thing would have to.
Then you can have all. Then you can have all the honorable mentions, JD. Have all the honorable mentions.
The first thing I would have done, DMLO come out of my team. And then I would try to get a deeper line midfielder. I actually think I would have worked with this sounds very mad, but Karai Anderson, I would have started over Damian Lowe in midfield. And it seems as if we have a progress of the ball. If DJ gets in better shape, I would have used him. So I would use Karai. So every time this coach tried to use 2 of those players in midfield, now I think the 3 at the back gives him not just the luxury on the wide side, but also in midfield. So I would have used Karai and DJ in midfield right there. And then I think I would have made my front line stay the same way, which is Bobby Reed, Mikel Antonio, and Damari Gray. Shamar Nichols, the switch of Mikel Antonio, and Liam Bailey, switch of Damari Gray, and the KC Palmer switch for Bobby Reed. That's what I would have done. And oh God, Ethan Pino comes back in. Oh Lord.
Okay.
Big body Ethan Pino has to start. So somebody has to go. You tell you what I would have done then, DJ come out of the midfield. I put Lati Bodier back in there with Anderson. All right? Yes. That's what I would have done. Lati Bodier and Anderson goes back here. Ethan Pinnock goes on the left-hand side of the 3.
That's fair. That's fair. I think for me, you need a mid for Canada. Again, we're gonna add not one thing because the list is long. 3-person midfield for Canada. They need a third body in the midfield. Now, whether that's another 6, a 10, or you throw in Chouanier, do that. And if you're going to play with a back 3, then the question comes, do you want to go, a middle 3 and a back 3? Is that the most effective way to go through? I have been a proponent of a 3-4-3 because I think the talent emerging for Canada is out wide and up top. And I think getting more pace and width on the pitch does wonders for players like Davies and Buchanan.
I am being in a winning squad. In my patience. I want to be a big team. Quality football. I don't business what nobody want to say.
I love how we both saw the same thing.
Smash the like button. Smash the like button and share and subscribe.
If you guys haven't done that yet, I'd appreciate it.
Smash the like button. Get us to 50, guys. 50. Come on, people. You want more collab with people that's watching football? Support the stream. Get it to 50, 60, 70 likes and get it to 1,000 people. Subscribe because we're going to always be over here to do these type of breakdown. All right. So subscribe.
Indeed. And also, so for Canada, I have to find a way to get some of the wide players onto the pitch, which means either sacrificing either a 4-3-3 proper a 4-3-3 proper would be the ideal. And in which case, if you want to have a back three, you can rotate a player like Alistair Johnson, which I hate the idea of because he's a fullback. But a 4-3-3 proper would be nice to get some more wingers onto the pitch, whether it's a Liam Miller, whether it's a Schaffelberg, whether it's a Corbianu. In my let me just dream moments, I don't expect it to work, but have one last run at Luka Kolyosha as he's getting ready to get back and ready and healthy, just to let him know, hey, remember us? See if you guys want to come in, because I think if you can answer that question, that answers a lot more. So for me, it's find yourself another midfielder to play and then get some wingers on. So go switch to a 4-3-3, see what it looks like. Even if that means you have to play a player like Laren out wide and he can drift up top. Do that. I would love to see that for Canada. And then ultimately, in a perfect world, they find a new coach before the Dutch friendly in June. So it's now March. So if they can find a new coach by like middle of April, that would be perfect for me. And then use that as a recruitment tool. See who else you can get through, see what you can work through. But I think ultimately, find a third midfielder that you can pair with them, then to get some more wide players out on the pitch, because these are 3 games minimum that you're going to get against great competition. Can Canada make it out of the group? It's possible. I want to see what the team looks like after the Dutch game before to temper what I say, but those are the 2 things I would love to see kind of moving forward. Okay. And that would be kind of how I look at it moving forward. But
When you're finished, you could do that to Africans. It's not.
Yeah,
It's not.
Will do. But yeah, that for Canada. And guys, for other squads, for other things, like if we have anyone from Panama, Costa Rica, if we have anyone from Mexico, the US, and I'll try to speak on the US. Start Gio Reyna. That's the tweet. Enough with this. He's your best creator. If you're going to play teams in transition, he's your best player to create things. In the low block, he's your best player to create things. I think he unlocks more. I think Balogun hasn't looked good because he hasn't had as much service from him in there. And I'm still convinced that the best US coach on the roster is the assistant to the assistant. So if anyone wants to hire BJ Callahan away from the US, please do so, because I still think he to me is the best the US has looked with him coaching. So I think ultimately that's what I will be looking for the US. I think that would be interesting and kind of go from there. But guys, let me know in the comments, what could you add? I know Jason had some thoughts here. I'm going to throw up Jason Gooder here. We need more midfielders, period, but mainly a two-way player with good technique and good energy. So technical midfielder, a technical solid box to box that can jump in. It's not a bad
Karai
call.
Anderson.
Karai Anderson is the name that keeps on getting brought up.
And take out Damien Lowe, but I guess I'm just bad-minded, So it's not going to be a stream that I'm not bad-minded. I want Jamaica to win. And I know that it, as what 80 Football said, JD, Jamaica style of football will not translate well in Copa America. Just be honest. Just being honest. All right, these are the things I'm talking. Of course, you can't have a big wild man in a midfield and tell him he's making tackles with technical swishbuckling players, and then you have big bad Hendricks running down with his. I'm not gonna say anything. Africans. They have actually embarrassed me with Hendricks, so I'm not going to say anything. You have big bad Vinicius and Hendricks.
I'm leaving the stage whenever Hendrick comes up, okay?
Whenever he comes Jamaica up, get rid with Damien head of state in midfield. You must be mad, man. What kind of football now watch, man? Try to get some real football player put in the middle, man. Man, a business if nobody wants my bad mind. I win, me want to win. All right? JD doesn't know Anderson will play for Jamaica. Lowe has done well for Jamaica. It's all right. All right. Gibbs White, but Gibbs White can't. Hold on. You say Gibbs White is going to be the one to come and save us in this system. Gibbs White would even play in midfield. He would have played as one of the wide players then, because we don't have any central midfielder in this system more than the 2 deeper lines. So he wouldn't play Demo. He wouldn't play. All right.
We'll see indeed. So Morgan Swag, Roy Anderson, more fighting. I've missed you guys. It's been
Demo,
so.
we are going to be at the what we call it, the COPA. We are there now, so we have to
Yeah.
do something different. This bagger sit back and can't play in a football and kick from back to front. One day, one day in Africans, the pressure is going to burst. And we are going to get a slaughteration, you see, man. Just watch. You see, if we can't see 2 goals early on, a murderation we are under, and they're going to fling off head of state off the field, and then reality comes in. Then and Karai and this will have to come on the field. But continue, Sir Africans, continue.
No, that's fair. I don't think he did, Jason, but that's fine. I don't think he did at all. But let's go to any other friendlies or games that happened this winter that are interesting for you. I know the England Brazil game was hyped, and Brazil got away with it, so I'm happy with that. But other games, other friendlies, things that are happening. I know, again, yes, this is where the Nigerians can come in at the end of the video and be like, "Oh, so how did Ghana do this window?" I'll let you know. I'll let you know. We drew our way to some pain. That's what we did. We drew our way to some pain. Wins don't exist in Ghana. We just draw and lose.
Okay, yes.
So I am.
And to be honest, still, in the Nigeria game, it was a penalty, but he shouldn't have gotten the penalty because Nigeria got a penalty up the other end, and they decided, okay, Nigeria, you're leading too much. And because it's jollof rice thingy, we're gonna just work with it now. So just go down the pitch and just give Ghana a penalty, to make the game more entertaining.
JD, I have no idea. I don't
Africans,
know.
They would have
Were we on the pitch? Because I saw red shirts moving. JD, I saw red shirts moving for Ghana, but I wasn't sure if they were just those movable pylons. Those pylons that drive.
I said they should have slaughtered Ghana because I'm telling you, they missed some link up plays. I'm telling you, they were working on things. That's why Ghana didn't get 6. But I can't tell you, they misses. You know what? Let me leave it alone. Africans take Ghana really serious, so let me leave it alone.
They've broken me, JD. They broke me 2 world. JD, this is the thing. The thing with me in Ghana is this: they broke me at the African Cup of Nations 2 years ago. Not this one. 2 years ago. So whatever they do at this point, when Nigerians tell me, "Hey, you guys lost," it's true. We did, and you never beat us, nor did we beat you. We just drew you, and we made the World Cup. That's all I have. 2 draws is all I have. I can't.
Yeah. But both of them have good squads. Obviously, Nigeria's squad is slightly better. I think we can't say slightly. We need to stop give Nigeria these weird. Nigeria squad is very good. They need to damn start put out some slaughteration on teams because they have some big ballers in the world. Put the damn big ballers on the field and slap goals in the back of net. All right? Yes. And get some damn wins. All right? Yes.
I agree with you there. Before we do head off, I did want to mention this because we didn't have a chance to do it, but this happened, and I don't think we've officially mentioned it. I put out a post on this. FIFA's ruling, or FIFA's decision to go to U17s every year, starting in 2025, in the men's in Qatar, the women's in Morocco. Is that, I have feelings on it, but what's your take on this? Does that really help the game, or is this just
a money grab? You think it was a money grab to promote?
Oh, I think it was straight money grab. Are you kidding me?
Okay. When I first saw it, I would have said it's money grab as well. But at the same time, I saw Mr. Speed brought up a point, which is good because you have the odd year players keep on getting not getting that experience, So I think that every year kind of help it. It's going to help, but it's also a money grab as well for better seeding for the main teams, them and the main competition to prove that I can host a smaller competition so I can get the World Cup in the end, Yeah, so that's what they're doing. It's a money grab thing. Definitely, sure.
No, it's a straight money grab. The things that I've found, if you're going to do it every year, the problem is, then what's the point of academies, right? Because if you're going to run that means technically you have to run qualifiers every year, which means you're pulling kids from their environments every year to play a few games and come out, and then you're going to do it the next year, play a few games and come out. And I think the idea of it makes sense. That's fine. I don't like that it's going to 48 for the men and then 32 for the women. I'm like, there's no real. No, it's going to 24 for the women at U17, which I'm like, you could have just gone to 32 if you really want to grow the game that way and create a showcase for it. Just go to 32. If you want to mirror each World Cup, go that way. And then the other thing is just, I don't know if, I mean, look at our like Concacaf is struggling with their setup to begin with on the women's side, where federations saying, "Oh, we forgot or we don't have enough money." Now you're gonna say, "Hey, we're gonna do this every year." It effectively the rich can maintain this. The richer federation can maintain this. I don't know if the smaller ones can. And what are you gonna learn on a year-to-year basis from players to kind of showcase them that way? I like the idea of having the location set. You can plan for that from a federation standpoint. I still wish that it wasn't every year. I wonder what this means for the U20s as well. Does this mean that the U20s are going to have a location for the men and the women? If that's the case, can we then pretend to be fair then FIFA, which I know you guys do a good job of doing that. Put the U20s, but seriously, put the U20s in Europe permanently, and then put the U7, and then put the for the men's or the women's, and then for the men's, the other one, put it in South America or the US. And then just say, hey guys, all the U17s are going to be in Qatar for the men, Morocco for the women, um, Portugal for the U20s, and then Venezuela for. I'm just using Venezuela as an example. It puts a lot of pressure on federations who don't plan for this. Federations, I mean, the joke for me in Canada is that that there's a youth camp coming or there's a youth tournament coming when Canada has a camp, which means the camp or the tournament's in 2 weeks. They are 2 months. So now you're going to put that pressure on teams to do that. It kind of does take away from the actual academies because now you're pulling kids in, pulling kids out. And yes, they get the showcase piece. I'm not sure if it helps overall, but with anything, I'll sit back and watch and see how it kind of goes, and we'll kind of wrap it up from there. But with that being the case, guys, if you are spent the time with us, thank you. We do appreciate you for coming by, coming through. We weren't gonna. It was a long shot, but hey, at least we know we called him. So good for Ghana. Good for Ghana. Yeah, we drew out that process too. JD, they broke me. They honestly broke me.
Let's
I was looking.
enjoy it. So, yeah, let's enjoy.
I was looking at their warm up kits. I was like, oh, I should get one, and I was like, but why? It'll just be a
I
nice
can buy
shirt
it.
to
I can
wear.
buy the Nigeria kit is fire. I need that Nike kit. That is mad. I like it, you know. And maybe I think I'm gonna win some games, you know. Yes. So
Yes,
Jamaica
'cause
winning a game, Nigeria winning a game. Why? Thank God I never chose Ghana. It's
we
Ghana
never won.
problem. No,
We
well,
did it
no,
easy, JD.
you ain't winning any game, no.
We would have winning it without you, anyways. Hey, winning you.
Yes. Yeah, you ain't winning no game, so hey, at least I can stay with the one that winning a few games.
No, that's true. That's true. Right before we get up, I know Canada has the Netherlands that they're playing in June. Guys, if there is a side that you would love to see your side play in a friendly, let me know real quick as we wrap this up here. Because I don't want to draw this out like Ghana draws games. But JD, if you could fix up a matchup or a window, a games before Copa America for Jamaica to play, and assume that budget isn't a problem, so they can play
Yeah,
anyone, who would you want them to play to get ready?
I think who you would want to play?
Yeah, who would you want Jamaica to play?
You have Mexico in your group. You'd have wanted to play Mexico. Just played Mexico. You don't have to want just play Mexico. Or I would say I would like them to play Suriname. You know, I would like them to play this Suriname team that I saw. So it's a little bit close to the style of Mexico trying to achieve. with slightly higher quality players. Surprisingly, I'm talking about Suriname, and I'm saying in some areas higher quality player in the football that they're playing. If you can dominate Suriname, I think you can dominate the Mexicans easier because Suriname is coming with some players now that I like it. I like the speed that they're playing with, and the a bit something that I think Mexico need to achieve too. And that's what Suriname has now. So I would say Suriname would be the best one because they might not want to give you a game. So I would say Suriname.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. This is
And that's to replicate Mexico, That's to replicate Mexico.
The Mexico. So Haiti football saying Jamaica versus Germany would be an interesting. No, it's okay. It's okay.
Just get 6 for no reason.
You could have Jamal and Leroy just score all the goals. Just do it.
Just get 6 for no reason, and they can't replicate. They played nowhere like nobody else in our region. 876 says Suriname will not help. Why, big boss? Just listen to the football guru, and you will understand. 876. Believe me, Suriname will help. We need stronger competition. Jerome. Jamaica don't have a stronger defense than Suriname, and don't have a stronger midfield than Suriname, and don't have a stronger forward line than Suriname. So you don't know the team that they have now, and you're complaining. I just said that is the best team that you should use because you can't get Mexico. And the only team I think in our region can replicate Mexico's style is Suriname with the physicality. So once you can overthrow them, you might can do good against Mexico. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, that's
but
good.
You know what? If you want to play Spain and get 50 and Spain and not learn nothing, because you're not going to learn nothing more than run up and down.
No,
which we already start run up and down. We do not more than run up and down.
I think there's a call. I think there's a shout for not the Big Ten teams in like Europe, but like the next range of squads. And to me, I'm like, I think of the Commonwealth. So like Ireland, Scotland, Wales. I think those would be interesting sides where you could actually try to implement some sort of system that you can play. For me, because I know Canada's playing the Netherlands, and then for me, give me the Netherlands for Canada, and then give me like Scotland or Wales, a side that maybe they're closer to.
So Africans, you said Canada playing the Netherlands.
Yeah, June 6th.
Okay, all right. So, if guys, you're going to see what we're talking about because Canada is better than Jamaica. And remember that, all right? Yes. So you see, when you turn the TV on, you're going to learn something. Africans, are you hearing me? I'm telling people, when you turn the TV on, you would realize why you don't pick certain teams to play.
Hey, JD, I'll take a check. JD, right now my federation needs money. So if that means we have to travel to get a beating, well, we get a nice check.
I'm gonna get a beating.
My hands are here for the check. Okay.
No, but I'm just telling the people the truth. Canada is gonna get a batteration from Netherlands, and you're gonna see what we're talking about. Maybe their metrics will look good at the same time, but you will collect a customary 4-0, or 4-1.
Customary. You just get that. It's customary, JD. I just get that when I get into customs. They're like, okay, welcome to Netherlands. Okay, here's your 4. Just right off the bat. A stamp and it just says 4. That's it.
So why we go and play these big teams when we know we're not winning nothing? Africans, so why we go there? Germany against the United States the other day, they smoke United States. You see what I'm talking about?
I know, but you need to play those games because there's a pace and there's an intensity that you have to match. And if you stay in Concacaf, this is nothing against the region, but ultimately, Concacaf teams will play stylistically a certain way, right? They're going to sit back, they're going to defend, they're going to muck up the game. You get transitioned. Listen, okay, I watched the game turn when Canada played Croatia. It was swift, it was painless, and I just looked and said, "Oh, this is quality." Oh, already. Hey, oh. But you need those experiences because now it's like, okay, this is what the high end looks like. Now you have to transition like this. We have to work better. We have to work faster. We have to think faster. And I think you need those types of games just to as a measuring stick to see where you actually are versus, and this is nothing against CONCACAF squads, but versus just, hey, let's see what we can do against this side. You want to prep for your competition, there's no doubt.
Stingston said the ranking. Stingston, the ranking doesn't matter as well, at this point. Because I just told you about Suriname midfield and Jamaica midfield. Suriname defense line and Jamaica defense line that they had in the game when they were playing against Martinique. And you would have been surprised what they have now. We say teams are changing. These are the two teams that have the most persons that they can call upon in their diaspora, Jamaica and Suriname. So Suriname is not technically the 40th ranked team in the world because they are better players now. Just like what Jamaica might be better than where they do sit. So it's normal. But the reason why we had the conversation was to mimic somebody from Mexico because Jamaica, Mexico in the COPA. That's what we were talking about. So stop change the conversation to something that I've not said. All right. I'm just saying that would have been the perfect team, a team that can pass the football for days. And that's what you're going to get from Mexico. Nobody in Concacaf can pass the football better than Suriname and Mexico. Because I think Suriname might can pass the football better than Mexico as well sometime. But Mexico, because of the history, we have to give Mexico the best passing team. So I was just saying, because of that and the physicality that they brought, which Mexico doesn't have it as them, to be with some of their players, once you can overthrow Suriname, like that batter them, it would have been better prepared for Mexico. That's what I was saying. So I was not bringing down Jamaica and oh, dare you to put Jamaica with Suriname. Come on, I've watched the team played in real life and I've watched Jamaica played in real life, and it's a good game to get some preparation so the coach can work how he comes out of transition, something that we struggle to do.
But no, guys, we'll keep it there. Again, I think the teams that are on the outside, I don't mind that. Netherlands or Croatia, listen, we did this, Mr. Yee, we did it once. You'll see us do it. It's not fun. Okay, Modric has the mind of a 20-year-old and okay,
the mind of a 20-year-old.
I don't want it. I don't want it. I had to adjust really quickly, JD. I was about to say things and then I caught myself. I don't want another Endrick situation. But
you have to be careful because no, I have been branded as the leg man, which I'm nothing like that. So
no,
people,
yeah.
let me see how it goes. Guys, we're 30 away from 700 subscribers. Come on, get we to that level. All right. Suriname is always being overhyped, a overhyped team by yourself. I am concerned when Jamaica plays against USA, Mexico. Yeah, but the problem is, I go to sleep when Jamaica plays Suriname. But Peter Mystic, you have not listened to what I've said, It was not me overhyping Suriname. It is me preparing for Mexico because we don't actually have anybody else, and the opponent wouldn't want to play us. The opponent wouldn't want to play us on the day, so you have to find someone to replicate that. So who are you going to go back for? Honduras? Honduras you'd have to go back for? Because Honduras is the closest thing to Mexico. But because you wanted to deal with the physicality so you could have overpowered them like what the United States did, I thought that Suriname would have been the new Suriname team, would have been the best option for them. That's what I've said, because they have the speed, power, and still have the passing ability as anybody in CONCACAF, which they are all facts. So you can't argue a point. If I say a team pass better than anybody else and they pass better than anybody else, that doesn't mean they are better than the next team. They have only accomplished one of the things them in the elements them pretty much. So that's what we're saying. And you don't see the team as yet. You saw them drew with 80. They battered Grenada. And no, they drew with Martinique. Martinique is a good team in our region. 80 is a good team in our region, proved by how we play them. So they are getting results just the same and improving. So you just I remember I am the one checking the football, so you have to just keep up with what I'm saying, because I know I have a point, but in the future you will see it.
Fair enough.
Oh my God!
We have Chile, Peru, good preparation.
Africans, yes. We have come to the end, but the people still want to fight. Yes.
I'm just saying, Senegal is a side that they have the names that'd be interesting. I think stylistically they're closer to. I think stylistically you would think the game would be interesting.
Yeah, but Africans. So why would Slingstone said we should stop talking about Suriname and those small teams? We need to play Italy and we need to play Senegal. So what are Slingstone, please? all right, if you're preparing for a team, African, this is the last point.
Yeah,
If you're
yeah.
preparing for a team, you don't want people can mimic that team, or you want to overhaul that team. Or you play in Senegal, what are you going to truly learn playing Senegal? Because they're
Depends who you're
faster
playing
than you,
next.
stronger than
Yeah.
you, and they
It,
play football similar to you. So what are you going to really achieve?
mm. So that's a fair point. It comes down to what you're trying to prep. Like you play friendlies for teams you're going to be playing for, or just for the sake of preparing. So I think again, playing a big team comes down to, hey, are you playing a team similar to that? That's why again, like think of teams and styles that people were trying to play, right? When Canada tried to play Iran in the getting ready for the World Cup and then that fell off, it was okay, a team that can play solidly defensively, but then also can kill you on the counter if they want to. That's what they thought they were going to be playing against, like a Morocco style team, even though Morocco were able to get it done, kind of work through there. So I think ultimately you want those friendlies to prepare you, especially getting ready for that. So I don't, with that being the case, I don't mind the South American calls to say, hey, getting ready
Mm-hmm.
to go and see them because you're going to Copa next. But I mean, I just threw it out as a ultimate. Hey, money's no issue. There's no problem with scheduling. Who do you want to play? And ultimately, I got the names I thought I was going to say. But ultimately, if you're going to play a team like that, you also want to play a team that then you can then move your way around and say, okay, let's impose something here, and let's actually put something on the pitch and see how that looks like. And whether you win or lose, you at least see it against similar type competition because you're not really going to get that in CONCACAF. One side's going to bunker versus the other. You barely get that in most federations. Most that will just happen. So I think it's interesting to see kind of where your mind goes when you given the option of, are you thinking more preparation, or are you thinking more you want to see the clash of styles and see what would be great, what would be good for the ego. Do I want to play England? No, I don't want to play England because England will just say, well, we're going to counter you, and I don't mind. I don't
See, Stefan said, didn't we just saw Suriname lose to Thailand? I think you guys are really disrespecting the teams in Asia, you know, man. I'm telling you, what is wrong with you? We not just see Jamaica lose to Jordan. We not just see Jamaica lose to Jordan and not just lose to Jordan. What is wrong with you, Stefan? Why you guys behave like this? We not just lose to Jordan and Qatar. Qatar we lose to? Who we lost to? We lost both of the damn games, them. That's all I know. But those two small teams, and then we just saw Morocco run rings around us. And I'm not talking Morocco real team, Morocco second African team run rings around us. So stop it. Stefan Jordan, relax yourself. Certain teams you have to give them credit. And look, in Asia, Africans, I don't want to push your program too far.
No, it's all
But
good. All good.
we don't just see Japan couldn't dominate Asia. We never just saw that. We don't see South Korea couldn't dominate. South Korea couldn't dominate Asia. So what are we talking about? It's like, what kind of man? Stefan, don't let me in war. All right, stop. Tell you what, when you see the new Suriname team, you're gonna see what happened. You're gonna stop your foolishness. You're gonna learn today. All right, because they just drew with 80 football, and they have better players now. So that means 80 is no good either. 80 football training, and you're gonna say that. All right, yes, and they just beat Grenada, more convincing than Jamaica. So give them credit, man. Every team is growing in the region. Give them the credit so we can see what both teams does. And they get a draw against Martinique, which they were the better team against Martinique. Had a couple chances well to score against Martinique. And Martinique pushed Costa Rica to the end. A team that I don't even know when last we defeated Costa Rica. So you see what I'm showing you? We're not checking history and we're not following things. So that's why me and you guys are going to always war. It is as good as Barbados. Oh my God. All right, Africans, I am done with the war. Let me go and do my Nigerian sensational video now, you know?
Yeah, enjoy maybe a win, JD. What's that like in Africa?
Yes.
What's a win like in Africa?
Yeah, man. The Nigerians are back. You know, after losing the finals, which they fully deserve to lose, you know, they are back to slap up a few teams and get ready for the World Cup qualifiers, because remember, they never started good in the World Cup qualifiers either. You know? So definitely, this is going to be an opportunity for them to slap up Mali, you know, and find a few more talents, especially in the midfield, you know? Yeah.
No, that's true. I feel like bad vibes. This is a good question to answer, but I feel like you're asking me for another 15 to 20 minutes. But no, it's an interesting thing. But we'll end it off with this because I think it's a fair question to ask. England versus
Yeah,
Belgium. Who do you got?
people, Belgium, England don't win games, people. All right, England don't win games. So it's a next loss coming up for England. And remember, Belgium batters the last time. It's a big deflection goal. People are going to say I'm bad-minded. It was a big deflection goal the last time it took for England to beat Belgium. Belgium brush England every single time. And we made them never turn nothing in World Cup when they're talking about they're the greatest World Cup. Oh, ever. Belgium knocked them off. Every single time Belgium just slapped them down. All right. So it's going to be a next slap down tonight again. All right. Yes, man. So English. I'm not good at football.
Nothing is coming home, but you alone.
Nothing is coming
Only
home.
you
More than
alone
yourself.
coming home.
Yes.
Okay, only you alone.
Yes.
And yes,
That's why I'm glad that when I saw Spain slaughtering them, you know, I'm saying, yes, I can sleep in peace. Got the bad mind, JD. Salma, they dancing over it and murdering them, you know. Yes. Yeah. So
we'll call it there, guys.
it's a fresh team. They're trying to work on a few things, you know. But they're still gonna slap up England. England ain't good.
And Kobe, it's just one. Okay, I can't even say it with a straight face. I can't say it with a straight face. Kobe, come home, please. I need something. Oh, Kobe, come home. I can't even say it with a straight face. Oh boy, look, let's wrap it up
All
here,
right,
guys.
boss.
Here
Yeah.
on the rewatch. Let us know what you think on all the questions we've asked, guys. Thank you for being here, and until next time, this has been the Africans. This has been JD, guys. Thank you for being here. Until next time, we simply say goodbye for now.